Hi everyone! Thanks for visiting my channel. I hope you're having a lovely summer's day. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Carol, the Thrifty Chic Housewife, and I'm really glad that you stopped by. So last week I did a video on my herb slash tea slash pollinator garden, and you all seem to really enjoy that. And then I asked if you guys were interested in learning how I use my herbs. So got a lot of feedback from you guys, and you said you were interested, and it sounds like many of you were very much like me. You grew herbs and then had no clue what to do with them once you grew them. So it's my goal to share a couple of short videos just showing you some ways that I use the herbs that I grow. So today we're going to be making some delicious and refreshing lavender lemonade. Now, lavender is obviously a flower, and we associate it mostly with soaps and perfumes and those kinds of things. But today we're gonna use it to make lemonade, and it is great for making tea. Lavender is good for you. It's great for relieving stress. It's great for a whole host of ailments, issues, if you will. So it has a lot of great benefits to it, but it's also delicious and refreshing in lemonade. It has a slight floral flavor to it. Obviously it's a flower, but when you pair it with lemonade, it's just really delicious, and it's a great way to use your lavender flowers. So I just wanted to share with you this book that I purchased. I've mentioned this before. It's called Growing Your Own Tea Garden, and in this book it has several things that I grow in my herb slash tea slash pollinator garden, and it does have a section in here on lavender. And this book is really great, guys, if you want to learn about different herbs and things that you can use to make tea. She does a great job of explaining how to grow it, where you can grow it, different growing zones, kind of a background on each herb, and a little bit of a history. And then she also tells you the proper way to brew it, because there are different ways of using herbs to make tea, and some of them require different ways of brewing them. So she does explain the proper way to brew it, or for the best way to brew it, I guess you could say. But I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what she wrote about lavender, that it's related to both mint and rosemary, and it kind of has, you can really taste both of those flavors when you steep it for tea. And it pairs really well with chamomile, lemon flavored herbs. So the lemon balm that I grow, it's delicious with it, or bergamot, and it's just really pretty. Now we're going to be making lavender lemonade, and I'm sure if you do Pinterest, you've seen on Pinterest that it has a beautiful lavender hue. That is not true unless you add some food coloring to it. I'm not going to add any food coloring to mine, so it really is the color of lemonade, or when you use honey, it will be a deeper yellow color, but it is not lavender. When you brew it, there's no color that is released from the flowers. So just want to dispel that. If you see pictures of lavender lemonade and it's lavender in color, that's because they've added coloring to it. So we're not going to be doing that. We're going to keep it au naturel, and I've squeezed some fresh lemons. You could use bottled lemon juice if you prefer, but I love fresh squeeze, so I just squeeze a few lemons by hand. We're also going to be using some filtered water. You can sweeten it with sugar, you can use honey, you can use a sugar substitute. I am going to be using a combination of honey and sugar. I think regular sugar is a little bit sweeter than honey. Lemons are pretty tart for my family, so I'm going to be using a half a cup of granulated sugar and then a half a cup of organic raw honey. But you could use all honey if you like that. Now, honey does add some flavor to it. Honey obviously has some flavor to it, so you are going to taste that. If you don't groove on honey, I would not suggest that you use it. I would suggest you use sugar or a sugar substitute. So just a few ingredients. We're gonna steep our flowers, add our lemon juice, give it a stir, and then serve it over ice. And it is so refreshing and so pretty if you add a little sprig of lavender in your lemonade like I did here. It's just really pretty and really fun, and it's a great summer drink. So let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to strip our flowers from the stem itself. Make sure you've removed any creepy crawlies and given them a good rinse. So we just want to remove the flowers. We're going to need about 2 tablespoons of fresh lavender flowers. You can also use dried flowers if you prefer. If you use dried, you're only going to use 1 tablespoon. Okay, once you have your buds removed, we are going to go ahead and add our sweetener, and you can use all honey or all sugar. I'm going to use a combination. Honey's going to add a little bit of flavor, but I think granulated sugar is a little bit sweeter tasting than honey alone, and lemons are pretty tart. So I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of raw honey. And then I'm also going to use a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Now what we want to do is we want to add about a 1/2 cup of boiling water, so make sure you've tempered your jar so your jar does not crack when you add the boiling water. We just need enough water to dissolve our sugar and steep our flowers. And I'm going to give this a stir, and then we're going to let it steep for about 10 minutes. Okay guys, once your tea has steeped for about 10 minutes, you just want to give it a good stir and make sure that your honey has become liquid from the heat of the water, or that your sugar is fully dissolved. And it is. So now what we want to do is we want to strain out the flowers. So I'm just going to pour mine into my pitcher with a strainer. That nice lavender flavor going on. It smells so good. And then to that, we are going to add 1 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And it was about 5 lemons for me to get a cup. It's going to just depend on how big your lemons are. And then to that, we're going to add 8 cups of cold water. Give that a good stir. Taste it for sweetness. Let it chill, and you're ready to serve. Okay, so when you are ready to serve your delicious summertime refreshing treat, I just put it in a glass filled with ice. I like to use something pretty because we're making a pretty drink here. I'm going to add 1/2 of a lemon slice and go ahead and pour our delicious lemonade. And a sprig of lavender. How beautiful is that? So let's give it a taste. It's so good. When you use the honey, like I said, the honey adds a lot of flavor to it. And then you have just that slight floral lavender flavor in the background, and then the delicious, refreshing lemonade. Another great way to use your herbs, so I hope if you're growing lavender, you will give this refreshing treat a try. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!